Hello, let's go ahead and start on lesson 19. This is going to be a 2-day lesson starting with day 1. You have a word problem that you're going to be doing, but please do not start that until you watch the video first. Make sure on your word problem that you use cubes and read, draw, and write. So you're going to be watching the video, doing the word problem, then coming over, making sure that you give us a written statement for the right part of your word problem. And then you're going to continue on with day 1. You are going to be using the vertical form as they showed you in the video, along with your place value chart and your place value discs. So make sure that you've got your place value chart and that you have your place value discs ready to go. You will need them for this entire lesson, as I pointed out yesterday. All right, so you are going to do problems A, B, C, and D using vertical form and your place value chart and your place value discs. The same thing will be true for your exit ticket for these two problems, E and F. You are going to show vertical form and do all of the work on your place value mat along with your place value discs. So this one should be a pretty straightforward lesson. And if you think about us doing this earlier in Module 4 when we were doing the place value discs on our place value chart, this should be a pretty easy step for you. So have those materials ready, your place value chart, your place value disc, pencil, and away you go. Pause the video. Hey, are you back? All right, so when we were doing this problem, hopefully you remember to use read, write, and draw along with cubes. You were circling. There are 35 note cards in one box. There are 67 note cards in another box. How many note cards are there in all? So I've drawn a tape model, and I am looking for how many cards were there in all. What did I know? I knew that there was 35 in the first box and 67 in another box. So I have a part, and I am looking for the whole. I wrote out my equation as 35 plus 67 equals the unknown. I've set that up in a vertical form. You could have done this problem one of two ways. You could have used your place value chart as we saw with Mr. Waldorf on the video, or you could also use what we did yesterday when we used the chip model, which either way would be fine. I did choose to use the chip model because I chose to use the chip model, but you could have very easily used your place value chart as well. So if you're using the chip model, you need to be sure that you represent both add-ins. Whenever you're adding, make sure that both add-ins show up on your place value chart. So here is 3 tens for 35, 10, 20, 30, and 5 ones, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and then my second add-in is 67, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 7 ones, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. I'm looking to see if I can compose a 10 when I'm adding 5 ones and 7 ones. So 5 ones plus 7 ones, I can see very clearly that I can compose a 10. I'm bringing that 10 down below to show that I have composed a 10. And if I compose a 10, I also need to make sure that I show that in my vertical form. So that leaves me with 2 ones. Then I am going to see if I can compose 100 with my 10s. Let's see if I can do that. So 6 tens and 3 tens would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But I have this one down below, which does give me 10. So I can circle those 10 tens. 10 tens has the same value as 100. So I am doing 100 down below. And you'll notice that I have shown that also in my vertical form. When I move that or compose that 100, I have no tens left, which is why I'm ending up with a 0 in my tens place. Then if I look at my hundreds, I have 1 100, which I am going to add to 0 100s. So 1 100 add 0 100s leaves me with 1 100. Therefore, I know that there is 102 cards in all. So 35 plus 67 is 102. 102 cards in all. 100, 0, or 1 100, 0 tens, and 2 ones. If you were successful on that, congratulations to you. If you did it with your place value chart, that is fine too. This is just taking and applying what you learned in lesson 17 to what we're doing in lesson 19. All right, let's go ahead and make sure that you wrote a word statement. There are 102 cards in both the boxes. Moving on, let's move on to our problem set. I am going to put this paper right here because I would like to demonstrate these two problems with you. You are supposed to use vertical form, which I have shown vertical form, but I also want to show you what that would look like on your place value chart. Please remember that when we are doing addition, we need to represent both add-ins. So I'm going to start with my first add-in in problem A as 7 tens and 7 tens and 2 ones. Here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and I've got 2 ones, so that's 70, 71, 72. Oops, both of those are turned the wrong direction. So there's my first add-in of 7 tens and 2 ones. I also need to represent my second add-in, which would be 19. 19 has 1 10 and 9 ones. I'm going to move that over right there. Here we go. So that would be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have oops, I need to move that up so you can see that a little bit better. Wow, I'm going to have to move everything up because this is way bigger than what I had anticipated. There we go. That's much better. Okay, so I have 72 represented as one add-in and 19 represented as the second add-in. First thing I want to do is I want to look in my ones and see if I can compose a 10, which I can. I'm going to take this one and put it right down here because it just makes it easy to see that I've got now a group of 10 that I can exchange or compose for a new, well, not actually new, I'm just going to exchange it or compose another 10. So I'm going to take these 10 off and put a 10 down below. Now you can see that that left me with 1 1, which I have represented here, but I've also taken this new 10 that I have composed and I have written it right in my vertical form in the tens place, showing 1 10 below. So I know I have 1 1 in the ones column left, and now I'm going to see if I can compose 100 out of the tens that I have. So I've got 7 tens and 1 10 and a 10 down below. I'm going to push these over and see if I can compose a 10. I mean, if I can compose 100. I can't quite do it. I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Not quite enough to make 100, so I am going to be adding 7 tens plus 1 10 is 8 10, plus 1 more gives me 9 tens for a total value of 91. You should be doing all of these problems, hopefully you did, on your value chart. So I'm going to take these off and we're going to do the second one together. Okay, here we go. My first add-in up here in this problem is 28 because I've now put it into vertical form. So let's get 28, 10, 20, and I've got 8 ones, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So there's my first add-in with 2 10s and 8 1s. 2 10s, 8 1s. Now I have to represent my second add-in, which is going to be 91. Let's go. Here we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and I've got 1 1, so that would be 1 1 would make that 91. All right, so I have represented my two add-ins, 28 and 91. The first question that I want to ask myself is, can I, looking in my ones, can I compose a 10? I'm going to move my 1 that's hanging down there and my 91 up here and see whether or not I have enough to make compose a 10. I do not. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which I have represented in my vertical model as 9 1s. Did I compose a new 10? I did not compose a new 10, so notice here that I have not composed a new 10. Now I'm going to come over and see if I can compose 100 with my 10s. If I take one of these 10s and put it down with these 10s down here, I can see very easily that I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I have been able to compose a new 10. So I'm going to take those 10 10s and I'm going to exchange them for, or bundle them together and exchange them or bundle them for a 100. That leaves me with 1 10 left, but I need to represent this 100 over here on my new groups below. So I have a new group of 100. I had 0 hundreds when I started, so now I have 1 100 added to 0 100s, which gives me 1 100. Altogether, that is 1 100, 1 10, and 9 1s, or in standard form, 119, because of 100 plus a 10 plus 9 1s gives me 119. So hopefully you did all of these problems, including your exit ticket, using your place value discs and your place value chart. So moving down to problem number C and D, I took 68 plus 61, put it in vertical form, and 8 plus 1, of course I did it on this chart. When I did 8 plus 1, I could not make another 10. I could not compose a 10, so that gave me 9 1s. So you see I don't have any 10s down below, so I haven't added them. Now I'm going to look at my 6 10s plus my 6 10s actually gives me 12 10s, and I can compose a 100, which I have represented here on my hundreds column, and that leaves me with 2 10s, and when I add my 1 100 to 0 100s, I end up with 100 for a total of 129. Please remember you were supposed to do this on your place value chart with your value discs. All right, so the same thing is true on letter D. I've put this in vertical form, making sure that my 1s are with my 1s and my 10s are with my 10s. I'm going to get that in just a little bit closer. So 7 1s plus 5 1s gives me 12 1s. That means I have enough to be able to compose a 10. So I'm going to take that group of 10 and I'm going to show it down below in my vertical form in the 10s place. That left me with 2 1s on my place value chart. And then I want to see if I can compose 100. 9 10s plus 3 10s plus 1 more 10 gives me 13 10s, which says yes, I can indeed compose 100. So I'm going to exchange or bundle a group of 100 and put that group down below in my hundreds column. That left me with 3 10s, and when I add that 1 100 to 0 100s, I get 100 for a total of 132. Hopefully you did all of that on your place value chart so you understand the relationship between working on the place value chart and how it relates to the vertical form. The whole idea is to get us comfortable coming from the place value chart to the vertical form. And of course your last problem that you need to send as your exit ticket is letter E and letter F. Again, please use your place value chart along with the vertical form as you get ready to send those problems to your teacher. You have yourself a great day of learning, and we'll see you tomorrow for, or not tomorrow, but we'll see you the next time for the second half of lesson 19. Have a great day of learning.